Hi, class. Dr. Earls just checking in over Memorial Day weekend as we are anticipating week 3, and you'll be working on your first part of your research paper. A couple of asked questions about exactly what's being expected. So, again, I'm always following instructions and the grading rubrics as far as grading your assignments submitted per what's due each week. So in week 3, the exegetical paper instructions are given to you for all 3 parts of the paper. The end result of these 3 parts that you'll do, the first part week 3, second part week 5, third part week 7, is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,500 to 3,000 words. So roughly you could be looking at each part being 1,000 words per assignment. But in your first part, as your instructions share with you, you're developing the background, giving the understanding of the context in which the text you have selected of the 3. And again, the 3 texts are your choice to choose from one of those 3. And that's Psalm chapter 1, verses 1 through 6, the whole Psalm 1, or Mark chapter 4, verses 26 through 29, or Ephesians 4, verses 7 through 16, which is covering the grace gifts given to the local church and the serving gifts, those as pastor, teachers, and other delineations in verse 11, that are special gifts to serve the body to bring forth their gift expression for the total body's work and accomplishing Jesus's call upon our lives to be and to do disciples and making disciples. So those 3 texts, you choose one of those to develop your exegetical paper. So again, in the part 1, you are going to clearly delineate what is your thesis statement from what your background is telling you in your initial research, and using the text of Pettit and Kaiser and Silva, allowing them to help you put together what you want to express and go after with your exegetical paper. In part 1, you are going to clearly delineate your thesis statement for this exegetical paper. I've sent to all of you the guideline for writing for the School of Divinity. In part 2, it's embedded in the instructions there also. So giving you example of title page, formatting, footnoting, as well capitalizations. All my grading is based upon that standard of capitalizations as far as what that paper calls for. So when you're talking about Great Commission, your divinity papers, that's capitalized, and other words of that nature. So you want to be familiarizing yourself with that standard from the School of Divinity for writing your papers. And then, of course, with all this, you're familiarizing yourself and working with Turabian. Let me just say this about Turabian. Editions change all throughout the years. The first dissertation I wrote was under the 4th edition. It's greatly expanded since then to cover online researching and such. So we are using for this class the 8th edition, and that's the text that's embedded in your text ebooks. But one of the best things you can do is just familiarize yourself with the end of the book, of allowing you to find where in that Turabian book those particular questions of interest you want to find answers to. So use those contents at the end to help you find that as far as where that's at in the book. But you're especially wanting to be very proficient with footnoting and how to express that in the Turabian style. One other thing that changed in the 7th edition for footnoting, you never start on a fresh page your first footnote entry as an ibid. That's not allowed starting back in the 7th edition of Turabian. You always have to put the full biblical footnote content, or excuse me, the full footnote content when it's the first entry on each page. So not an ibid, but your content for the first entry on every page of your papers. All right, so thanks so much for digging in for the great challenge of Turabian. It is a challenge, but again, if you'll familiarize yourself with the end of the book, that way you can look up things rather quickly and know where to go as to finding it whenever you have a question. I still have to do that now. So that's just something that'll help in mastering Turabian and making use of it a lot easier. Thanks, class. Have a great Memorial Day weekend reflecting on people that have given their lives up for us to enjoy freedoms. We have a great gratitude, and I'm glad Liberty recognizes that about our service personnel. My son's in the Navy, serving as a chaplain. My father-in-law was Navy. All of you have family members that are in services now or have been. So thank you all for giving thanks to God and lifting up not only thanks, but intercession for those serving us in our country. All right. God bless you. Have a great week ahead. All right. Bye.